Good morning and good evening. We'll begin with our study circle, the Friday study circle, in which we are doing a book study on the sunlit path. So these are words by the mother on what the ideal path of a seeker should be. At least that's my understanding. So since a few of us joined late, we'll just take another minute to just gather ourselves, just becoming aware of our breathing, breathing in, breathing out, mindfully. Opening myself for change, for corrections, for perfections, for greater height. And for greater heights, I have to leave the ground I am on and walk to a new ground. So may I get the strength to make these words into action, to put them into practice, and not just let this be again another source of entertainment, intellectual curiosity, just reflection, so praying for grace and the presence of Mother and Sri Aurobindo as we begin the session. Thank you. So I'm assuming you can see my screen. And last time we had taken up two passages. We had done refuse the lower movement, which was very good. We had spent 3 sessions, I think, on it. And then it was begin from the outside, which spoke about that. A lot of times I say that first let me change my thoughts, my emotions, and then I'll change my action. But here Mother had said that this never succeeds. The effective order is to begin from the outside. There she says that first you change the action. First you stop doing something that you don't want to do, and the others will follow. Other things will follow. So just taking an overlap, the effective order is to begin from the outside. The very first thing is that I do not do it, and afterwards I desire it no longer, and next I close my doors completely to all impulses. They no longer exist for me. I am now outside all that. This is the true order, the order that is effective. First, not to do it, and then you will no longer desire, and after that, it will go out of your consciousness completely. So, in case there is any, I don't know, reflection on that from last time or something, we can take it up. Otherwise, for today, our topic is inner cleanliness.
Actually, I was in medical profession, so I could see some similarity of thoughts here. The very first thing is that I do not do it, and afterwards I desire it no longer, and next I close my doors completely to all impulses. So effective order is to begin from outside. The if there is any serious, any deep cut, if the patient comes to the emergency immediately. So what we used to do is first we used to clean outside, outside the wound where it has taken place. Then we are told because this is required because outside there may be a lot of germs and bacteria and things like that, which will further complicate the issue, which has already taken place. Then after that is achieved, then we used to clean the wound which has perfectly has taken place. And all. So that means the first you have to start from outside, not from inside. So inside will go because we should not put something inside. No, that is the medical profession that was. So that was the practice. So here also I could see that similarity. Like the mother says, the very first thing is the effective order should be begin from outside. So we have to do from outside, and then we'll go slowly inside. So that was true for the medical profession. I should say similarity. So I thought I'll just express. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Captain. Just to reiterate, and reiterate is what we keep doing to ourselves. A lot of times we think that, pehle andar badlega. Like, I will stop desiring it. I will stop wanting it. I will stop, I don't know, whatever, feeling it. And we don't change what we are doing. We don't change the actions of our life. We keep doing the same things, expecting a different reaction, expecting a different outcome. And it never changes. So they are saying that if you know something is not good, or if you know something will be better or might be better, if there's a chance that it could be better than where you are, go for it. Go, go, go. Stop waiting for the brain to say, yes, I think this is perfect. Stop waiting for, the emotions to say that, yes, ये तो भगवान की पुकार है, यही मुझे जाना है. So, I mean, just baby steps, small things. I can see it. It's making sense, even though it's not making sense actually. But if something is bothering me, if it's bothered me for years, because with us, things just don't go away. I can change my action and the inner will follow. So we'll go to inner cleanliness now. And Captain was talking about BJP. Captain, if you could please share with us, we'll begin the reading.
Should I start reading?
Captain, do you want to first share what you were sharing? That BJP?
No, that was actually anecdote, but
Yeah.
nobody should be from the BJP party and all. They may not like it. So this is in the lighter vein. We used to say because naturally all husband wife during this COVID-19. So we used to do that Bartan Jhadu Pocha because the maids were not allowed to come in the society or housing society and all. So then I started telling, okay, we can arrange them in this Bartan Jhadu Pocha. B for Bartan and J for Jhadu and P for Pocha. So BJP. So we used to say that has the BJP done? So like that we used to tell amongst the friends actually. So that was that BJP. So here we saw that inner cleanliness. So that that acronym came into my mind. So I thought I'll just share with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Yeah, so if anybody wants to read, I don't know, Captain, would you like to read the first?
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Inner cleanliness. I have known people, many, not only a few, I mean, among those who do yoga, I have known many who, every time they had a fine aspiration and their aspiration was very strong and they received an answer to this aspiration, every time, the very same day or at the latest the next day, they had a complete setback of consciousness and we are facing the exact opposite in the of their aspiration. Such things happen almost constantly. Well, these people have developed only the positive side. They make a kind of discipline of aspiration. They ask for help. They try to come into contact with higher forces. They succeed in this. They have experiences, but they have completely neglected cleaning their room. it has remained as dirty as ever. And so, naturally, when the experience has gone, this dirt becomes still more repulsive than before. One must never neglect to clean one's room. It is very important. Inner cleanliness is at least as important as outer cleanliness. Vivekananda has written, I don't know the original, I have only read the French translation. One must every morning clean one's soul and one's body. But if you don't have time for both, it is better to clean the soul than clean the body.
Yes, thank you, Krishna. Anything, if you have any reflections?
Uh, I remember my brother is in the Ramakrishna mission in one of the ashram. He's 80 plus. So he is the full-time devotee. So now there where the photograph of Ramakrishna is kept, and that is the temple sort of thing, where they do the prayer and all in the prayer hall. So that was to be cleaned every morning. That is of course outside cleaning or inner cleaning. So I used to see that very learned persons, very well educated and very old and all, and they very meticulously they are cleaning the room. So I was young, so I thought I told him that can I clean? So they said no, you cannot. He says, this cleanliness is of very highest order. So first you see that what I'm doing, whether you'll be able to do that or not. So I observed for some time. So because first you have to clean with some sort of dry cloth and all, and then some pocha sort of thing and all this. Anyway, I looked for a while and all. I say, see, if you conduct an examination, give me some area, I'll clean it, and then you can have an inspection. And if you certify, then I'll go to clean. So then I cleaned that area, and he inspected and said that yes, you can do it. So the main place where the deity is kept and all this. So I cleaned very carefully and concentratedly. It was total concentration of mind. I was not thinking anything else because these very delicate things are kept there, and I was very concentrating that nothing should be disturbed as such, and whereas that place should be cleaned thoroughly. So then I did that, succeeded that. So I was remembering about that cleanliness, but here we are talking about the inner cleanliness. Is that we have to clean when you do any puja and the priest comes. They first of all they utter that Sanskrit mantra. They say. अपवित्र पवित्र वा अपवित्र पवित्र वा सर्वावस्थान अतोपि जत्सरे पुंडरीकाक्षं स्वबाह्य अभ्यंतरं शुचि. All means abhantar and outside. Bajja is outside. So bajja abhantaram shuchi. So whoever is telling that mantra who was fasting and all this. So for them, that first is the cleanliness. You have to clean inner and outer, and you have to keep the place ready, because the higher forces when they come, they don't like this dirty mind or the dirty place or something and all this. So that has to get in, and so once we are clean and we are ready, and then only that higher forces probably will be able to come, and we can request we can request the higher forces to come. So that was the thought which was coming to my mind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, outer is what is visible very clearly. And we might know people, we might be one of them, for whom the outer cleanliness of the body, of the house, of the, I don't know, the whole neighborhood is very important. I very happily sweep the house, I take up everything, all the plastic, everything that I have used, and I put it in the dustbin, especially in India where there's not mostly even sorting and all, but it's changing and starting. So as long as the kuda get out of my vision, I feel that safai ho gayi. But where is that kuda going, right? Like when I drive outside of Delhi and I see those mountains of garbage, I comment that, oh my God, see, where are we going? कितना garbage इकट्ठा हो रहा है. But वो garbage मेरे घर से ही जा रहा है. What am I doing to reduce that garbage? Nothing. For me, the cleanliness is okay, what I can see. It's clean. My dustbin is also clean and shining. So one thing that came to me about outer cleanliness and how it's like, we are all connected, and unless there is thorough cleaning everywhere, reduction of garbage, it won't help anyone. And the importance of cleanliness, the amount of energy, our hours, our, I don't know, everything, so much of it goes in keeping, our houses and again ourselves clean, more clean than it needs to be. And yet, अंदर जो कूड़ा है, जो so much disruptions, chaos, so many, I don't know what word to use, but we know it's all there. So here it's saying that outer to we know, we do, inner do we do. So, the stress on the inner cleanliness. And I remember once there was some talk, some commentary on the Upanishads, and in that they said that, there are two ways to clean. They say Diwali ke Diwali, especially in India, we have this thing about deep cleaning. Okay, you open up those places which you don't open the whole year, and you remove the things, you give away the things you don't want, you clean the things that are there, and again, and the next year again you would do that safai. So one thing is that I keep cleaning what I have to make sure it's clean. The second thing is I do not put stuff in that room. राइट पहले तो है कि जो है पहले से उसको मैं क्लीन कर रहा हूँ, प्योरीफाई कर रहा हूँ. बट एक और चीज मैं कर सकता हूँ कि और एक्स्ट्रा सामान मैं वहां ना डालूं. So that I thought was very beautiful, that of course I have to clean the past loads, the impressions, the vrittis that I am carrying. And in addition, if I really want to move towards a lighter life, am I not putting more things in my room, in my head, in my consciousness that would require more cleaning? So, yeah, that kind of came to me, and opening it for more reflections before we take up the passage line. Anything on inner cleanliness, if we would want to share it. Okay, so it says, Mother says, I have known people, many, not only a few. I mean, among those who do yoga, I have known many who, every time they had a fine aspiration, and their aspiration was very strong, and they received an answer to this aspiration every time. The very same day, or at the latest the next day, they had a complete setback of consciousness and were facing the exact opposite of their aspiration. Such things happen almost constantly, and this is the mother saying, she doesn't exaggerate. And well, these people have developed only the positive side. So they are aspiring. The positive side is developed. They make a kind of discipline of aspiration. They ask for help. They try to come into contact with higher forces. They succeed in this. They have experiences, but they have completely neglected cleaning their room. It had remained as dirty as ever. And so, naturally, when the experience has gone, this dirt becomes still more repulsive than before. I'm having a visual that, okay, I have a room which is full of, dirt, chaos, kahan pe kuch pada hai, clothes all around and undusted and dark. And I go out and I see a beautiful idol, say Buddha, and I find it really beautiful. I, bring that idol home. I'm so happy, so thrilled that Buddha is radiating peace and joy. And I bring it with the utmost purity, love, aspiration. But when I come home and when I place that Buddha among the chaos, the dirt, the filth of my stories, my past, my belongings, it doesn't have that same peace that it had when it was sitting on that shelf, which was beautiful and clean. And after a day, maybe I won't even notice it is there. So, although I got a beautiful thing in me with me, but because already in me there is so much, the beauty doesn't get a chance to shine through me because there's so much else that's occupying. So here where mother is saying that let me clean, you must clean the inner being to receive the light. Otherwise, even if you receive it, which you will for sure if you're aspiring for it, it would not help you because there's already too much you have. I remember, and I might have shared this with us before. There's this mystic called Acharya Prashant, and I had, spoken to him a few times, more than a few times over different topics. And once I'd asked him, I don't know, I had asked him that I can see truth, but I can't become it. How do I do that kind of a thing? And he just laughed and he said that, Taruna, तुम तो बस झाड़ू उठाओ और बस सफाई करो मतलब जितना भी कूड़ा है झाड़ू लगा के you just remove it like just and discreetly just remove everything that is on in and around because everything is कूड़ा और जब clean हो जाए room तो बस then you light a light and you wait and the truth will itself come. So even if the truth wants to come, it's not able to come because there's no space, there's no place for it. So just empty the room. And I am assuming that that diya probably was the diya of aspiration. I mean, we can say it in any which way we want to, but the crux is make room outside, inside of me, so that beauty, joy, truth as a space, as a place to be, to prosper, and to enter me. Yeah. Any comments, any questions, reflections on the first paragraph? Hi, Nandini, welcome. Okay, so taking it forward. I'm just reading this again that they have completely neglected cleaning the room, it has remained as dirty. And so naturally, when the experience has gone, this dirt becomes still more repulsive than. So one must never neglect to clean one's room. It is very important. Inner cleanliness is at least as important as outer cleanliness. Sometimes we have to be polite, and I think this is where mother was being polite when she's saying at least as important. Because otherwise, if one could just have a free reign, they would say, of course, it is most important, much more important than outer cleanliness, which obviously is important too. And thus, mother follows it with a quote from Vivekananda that one must every morning clean one's soul and one's body. But if you don't have time for both, it is better to clean the soul than clean the body. And cleaning the soul can mean so many different things, right? One can look through what one is going through, the thought patterns that are coming, the emotions that are coming, offer those things that one doesn't want, even become aware, okay, where am I think, what am I thinking, where am I lost today? That is cleaning. So if I have less time, and mother, I think, has coupled it with cleaning the body because most of us, brush our teeth, take a shower in the morning. So just if we tie something with that, because that routine is already set, so we can. But if we have less time, it's better to clean the inner than the outer, because if the inner is clean, the outer would not even appear to be dirty. There's this small, lots of, I think, couplets related to cleaning, even Kabir ji's, but I don't know, my Nani used to say one, I forget exactly, and she used to say it in Punjabi, jo rab milda nahande dhonde, so milda, yeah, so basically it was like that if God was found just by cleaning, by keeping oneself clean, so the first ones to get God would have been the frogs and the toads, right? Because they're always in water, they're always kind of cleaning themselves. So that is reflective that it's not through just cleaning the body, because especially in the religious practices, right? The bathing and all is given really a lot of importance. Yeah. So this was keeping inner cleanliness. So, if there's anything that we want to talk about on this, we can. Otherwise, we have a lot of time, another half an hour. We can take up the next
So I
passage.
have some. I have a question. Hi, this
Yeah.
is Nandini. Hi.
I,
So my question is, how do you do this inner cleaning? How do you let go of all the stuff that is inside that you need to throw out? What's the way?
yeah, I think that's an excellent question. And yet, I think it would be different for all of us. It would depend on what we are holding and how we are holding, right? And I think one thing to see is that whatever I'm holding, what is it doing to me? So we'll all have to follow, for us, for some, at different point of time, there could be like, breathing techniques, or just, I would say one, even if one is starting with awareness, because a lot of times we don't even know that there is dirt inside. That I feel that, oh, I am so good, I am so kind, I am so loving. I hardly have any bad thoughts. I hardly have lust, desire, greed. And yet, when I look at, that scrumptious burger with fries, the greed in me to go and hold it, for example. I know you're vegan, so vegan stuff, we'll say, I see something. Yeah, so, and yet I see, oh, there is greed in me. And I thought there wasn't. Because somewhere we feel that if those emotions, if these things are not very loud, they are not there. And yet they are there if one is present to themselves. So I think the first thing would be to be aware of more and more and more of these movements, these things that still exist in me. And then again, it's a very long thing that what all, if one is seeing something, like say I had discussed one time that I saw something and I suddenly felt that I have to eat it. So I stopped myself till I saw that the feverishness had gone. It was like I eat it, I don't eat it, it's fine. And then I could eat it. So again, all the things that I'm considering important, that I have accumulated, gathered in my room, and the room feels heavy and dark and dirty and it doesn't feel light. So I'll have to look at each and every article, right? That, okay, if I'm sitting and a thought is coming to me again and again, there's some guilt, there is some anything that's coming. So I can just sit with it and see, okay, what is its root? Where is it coming from? Is it helping me? What do I do with it? Yes, please.
So suppose you identify the root, and I'm probably talking about deeper things, not just impulses. And impulses are also driven by some subconscious something, could be. So suppose you come across some deeper stuff that is sitting there, maybe some hurt from the past or some pain from the past, and you can see it, and you can see that it's affecting your behavior and it's something not desirable and something that you want to let go of. So you're aware, is that enough, or is there more stuff that one can do? Or if someone has some personal um, experience of doing it, then I'd love to hear about it.
Yes. Does anybody have anything to share? They can share first. So Nandini, according to me, like, if one is aware, that is great. That is like the first step, that at least I know that this is the root, this is sitting in me, that is, making me do this and that. And
Right.
then it's like, there are different things that work. If I talk about myself at different times, at different stages of my life, a lot of
Mm.
times when I can clearly see the hurt that it's causing now to myself and the other,
Mm.
one that helps me in kind of letting go.
Okay.
Secondly, offering it to mother, to the divine, that, see, I have this load, I have this thing that I'm carrying, and I don't
Mm.
want to carry it anymore. A lot of times we are not capable, we are incapable of keeping things down, because this is my story. This is my
Yeah.
trauma. This happened to me. So that becomes a part of my self-worth, right? कि अगर ये नहीं है, तो फिर what will be my story?
Mm.
If I want lightness, if I want peace, if I want purity, simplicity, right? Then I cannot keep that load with me. But because I am not able to put it down, I offer it to the universe that help me. Take it from me, I can't hold it. A lot of times, say if we open a bag of, say, chips, and we are not able to stop, I would, tell my sister or my brother, just take it from me, just keep it away or hide it so that I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
We have done it. So just like that, we can say that, okay, I'm having this, I'm carrying this. I don't know how to put it down. It's weighing on my heart, on my soul, on my consciousness. So you take it, please help me. I don't want it. And a lot of times, sometimes miraculously, instantly, sometimes over time, I see that the hold of it on myself is less.
Something just occurred to me as you were speaking is, let's say I have unearthed belief, which is, let's say something like, those who love me can hurt me. This is a belief that I had unearthed in myself based on some incident that happened in childhood. So I've been mulling over it, how to, so I'm aware of it, and I've been working with the memory and, letting it go, release, forgiveness, whatever. So what has just occurred to me as you were speaking is that I could now implement in the present the opposite of that, as in my behaviors with people who I love, instead of having this negative subconscious uh, energy, I can change it, I can shift it, and start believing that those who uh, love me, support me, or are there for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, make
Yes,
your behavior the opposite, and maybe that's how we can, change the old programming.
yes, absolutely. Yeah,
I mean, but yeah, of course, it's different for each person depending on what stage they're at. You're absolutely right. For some, awareness might be enough. For some, surrender. For some, forgiveness. For some, everything. So yes, we have to work through these things ourselves. But anyway, this is an idea that has occurred from what you were saying. So
yeah.
I'm going to try it out and see. Maybe that's the way to move ahead.
Yeah, there's this one thing I'll just quickly share, Deepa, that once I was talking to Monica about one of my relatives, and he didn't have a very good place in my heart. So he was not well, and I just told her that, he's not well, but, I never liked him anyways. He
Yeah.
did this, and suddenly I was like, there's a person I haven't seen in maybe 20 years, maybe 15, and now he's
Mm,
on his deathbed, maybe. And all I
mm,
have to say is just this, like, that's so sad. And I
mm,
stopped myself mid sentence when this came to me. I was like, no, I don't want to say this. And then I closed
mm,
my eyes and I remembered something really funny that had happened in his
mm,
presence. And I said, no, this is the story I want to remember. And when next
mm.
time I think about him, this is would be my story. And I said, forget what I said. Listen to this. This is very funny. And then by the end of it, I was smiling when I was sharing about him, right? So for me, I went back and changed how I
Yeah.
associated that, him with those
Correct.
things. So it really
Yeah.
helped me. And then after that, I did that for a lot of other things that, I changed my story.
Yeah. I agree with you that it's very important to change our stories. And I also think that when you see changed behavior from your own self, so for example, if you think about him and those thoughts don't come anymore, and you're able to speak without heaviness about him, that means that the shift has really happened, you know? Like, when we can sense it in the present and our behavior changes, I think that's probably a sign that we have moved on from that particular memory.
Yeah. And it's just a memory, it's just a
Yeah.
memory. Like today, if I would fall and bang my head and say if I would lose some or all of my memory, that thing is gone, right? So that thing in itself has no value. It's not really something strong that has happened to me. It's just, okay, something happened, I perceived it in a certain way, something I had to experience, and now I'm holding on to it for the rest of my life. Like, how sad is that? And one,
Yeah, I mean, logically, we can say that. However, sometimes some things are so deeply embedded in the memory of the body and in the psyche that logically knowing it, doesn't dislodge it. Some get dislodged by logically knowing, but some have gotten so deep that they are part of our programming, and those negative beliefs that we formed as a 4-year-old or a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old or whatever, they have been running us and we don't even know it, you know. And I have been doing a lot of inner work for the past 6 weeks, and I unearthed some disturbing and traumatic memories. But what was important was that I realized that these negative beliefs from those times have been running me, sabotaging in the background, and I wasn't even aware.
yeah,
So now I'm trying to, process and integrate them, and also shift them towards something that is actually useful for me and not sabotaging.
yeah,
So some really deep ones, I mean, if we happen to come across them, at least for me, I can say I'm requiring a bit of work, because they have really, there's something from 4 years old and 5 years old, and I'm 55 years old. So they've been running me for 50 years. So it's taking a bit of work to, because they are so deep that they are part of who I am, as in my personality, not the real who I am, but my personality. So changing a personality that has such deeply etched grooves for the past 50 years uh, is requiring some work for me. Some are easier to change, but the ones that run deep, um, so I'm just seeing what will work, trying different things. Because when my thoughts change and when my behavior changes, that's when I know that I'm changing. I mean, I literally have to give up who I've been because that's not serving me. And it's the unknown great adventure of coming closer to who we really are, which I haven't known ever, you know, since probably the age of 4. Like maybe I knew it as an infant, but it's not in my conscious memory for the past 50 years. So uh, it's like I don't even know who I'm supposed to be, because who I thought I was, I can see that that's not serving me, and I'm not that. Uh, but who I am, that's the great adventure.
yeah,
I mean, letting go of the persona, the personality, the story, as you were saying, that's the real work. Uh, and the more deeply ingrained we are, the more work it is.
yeah. Yes, Deepa, please.
No, I think y'all have covered it. I mean, with respect to what Nandini was saying, I remember our conversation, Taru, where I was telling you about some incident of my teenage years. Today I'm 45 plus. So Taru just gave me a perspective and she asked me, when did this happen to you? So I said, I was a teenager, I was a school going kid that time. And she said, so how many more years are you going to carry it? And that thought just shook me because I didn't realize that for how long I was playing the victim and for how attached I was to that hurt. The incident by itself is nauseating, but the memory of it is nauseating for me. But the hurt is what I got attached to. And then I realized like how many things I changed within me because of that one incident. Um, which will seem illogical when I talk that I won't do X, Y, and Z things because of that incident that happened. So I'm safeguarding myself to what extent. And it's not that I'm completely out of it, but it gave me a perspective of um, should that incident have defined me? Should I have been so attached to the hurt? Also, my responses to people who were not directly responsible for the hurt, I kind of clubbed a few people together and decided, okay, I'm going to stay away from these people. I'm never going to look at them again. I mean, that's like very close relatives I'm talking about. So there were so many. I tried to paint so many people black or gray, and it was not correct. It was not right. But at least now at this stage, I realized that it was the burden I alone was carrying. I needn't have carried it. Um, I was not the perpetrator, so why did I carry it for so long? It just doesn't make any logic, right? How we kind of carry the baggage when we shouldn't have been carrying. It's just a memory at the end of the day, and life is so beautiful. And there's so many more good things and good thoughts that we can have. So why are we cluttering ourselves? So much mind space I gave it, so much time I gave it. Um, so it's time to clear the clutter.
Yeah, I would also like to say that when we were young, uh, when we didn't know any better and these things happened and we did certain things or formed certain beliefs, in my understanding, that's like a coping mechanism because you couldn't handle what happened at that time. So this was a coping mechanism where you decided that you were not going to see such and such people and whatever, whatever. But now that you know better, you can make better decisions. But I also think we shouldn't be too harsh on ourselves for what we did as children or teenagers, or even when we didn't know any better. Because, you know, whatever happened at that time helped us cope with whatever was happening. So now that we know better, we can certainly work on it, let it go, you know, and do all this integration. So we can ask the question, what's the point of carrying all this? Like I can ask myself, what's the point of carrying all this now? But not as a judgment to the 4-year-old or the 10-year-old or the 20-year-old or whatever it is. That's my perspective.
Yes, thank you, Deepa. Thank you, Nandini.
Oh, you know, it's surprising as well as it's so enlightening to hear what Nandini ji and Deepa shared. Because this morning itself, I was discussing on a similar topic, and it just makes me feel that I'm not alone. Because it happens with so many people and life in so many levels. Um, one thing I would like to say is, while realizing that I need to now, get out of this to that I'll let them live their lives. That's what I told myself. But maybe during one of the meetings, I'm told that maybe a they had a bad childhood, that they acted the way they did with you, and I was able to forgive them to an extent. And I thought, okay, this is it. Now my life will change. From tomorrow, I'll have a brighter morning. I'll have a wider smile. You know, it didn't happen like that. Even after forgiving someone who had an impact on me, it didn't happen. Then I realized that even I need to forgive myself. That, like if someone did something to me and that hurt me and I acted in a way that my being would not normally do, and that made me feel guilty for so many years. It's not just I being hurt, but it's also I reacting to that hurt, and doing certain things that stuck with me. And then there are habits that come along. So there are three things I see here. One is the hurt, second is how I react to it, how I react to others because of it, and three is what habits I've got out of it. So the first step was recognizing and forgiving. That was done to an extent. It's still in process. But the second is about um, what I've done out of it, how guilty it made me feel. I'm 30 years old, and just this morning I was talking about how guilty I feel, how sad it feels of my actions, of my words. But even that, if I can forgive myself, if I can love myself again, if I can, like Taru ma'am once told me that get rid of this past, get rid of all these weights that you carry, and just you know just just be simple. I am bad at remembering things, so I'm maybe paraphrasing what you said, or just rephrasing in my own understanding. But that is one part, and the last is the habits. The habits are what I've really I'm still trying to get rid of those habits that I have cultivated in myself after these experiences. And it's only when I find a few examples outside and I see that, oh, this person is behaving in a way that I would behave, and am I enjoying his behavior? I'm not enjoying his behavior. Like I've this morning I was talking about how I am always worrying about, oh my god, I'm going to ask this person this and maybe it will trouble him, it will take, it will bother him. And now after that, like an hour ago, an hour after that, I was remembering how one of my friends who recently moved to this country, and he was always extra thankful, and it felt unnecessary to me. Why is he acting so much? Why is he acting like that? I just gave him some information. I told him to call me. He called me a few times, and he apologized to me on the phone for calling me, and I don't feel anything. And I'm thinking, so isn't that me with someone else too? Isn't that how I act with someone else too? Matlab, what will happen at most? I'll tell him, dude, I'm busy. Don't stop calling me. And the end of story. Why does he have to suffer every single time? And yet, by saying this, I am repeating the same thing. It's I just if there is a practice of standing outside of me and just watching me, I would do it every day to just see how I am behaving with others, because my phone's memory is low. I cannot just record myself the entire day. So at least I can see from myself from outside and see how I'm reacting to things. Because when I see the same behavior in others, I'm not enjoying it. Uh, so yeah, how I don't know how relevant it is that I've shared, but I just wanted to share. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Jack. Everything is important. Our stories, our traumas, our past. And yet, the most important thing is that I'm bigger than everything that has happened to me. I remember I had taken some, past life regression sessions, and I saw something and it was very intriguing and I wanted to take more. But then I wondered that how much trauma there is in all lives, right? What will I see and how much will I let go? Like it's as if that if I'm looking at my past, there would be so much that if I keep holding things, and I'm talking about small things, of course, the bigger things are harder. There's never gonna be a time when I'll be able to walk ahead if I just keep cleaning this floor that I am on. So after some cleaning, after seeing some things till their roots, after realizing that okay, how things affect me, at times it's like one has to change the level. And no, matlab, the lifetimes after lifetimes I can spend if I pick up each and everything and put light on it. Or I can go to a higher floor which has light, knowing that, yes, this happened to me, but this is, I'm not just that. I am more, I am more, I am more. I've come here for a purpose. But if all my energy, most of my energy is just going into the past which is called bhoot, which is gone, which still haunts me. If I'm still being haunted majorly, which is, showing in my actions, my behavior, as we were all sharing. So the past is technically gone, and yet it's not, because it's still living in me, through me. And yet I am bigger, higher, lighter than everything that has happened to me. Though while I'm spending a lot of time cleaning, now that I'm aware, I must spend some time in this feeling also, this realization also, that yes, I see this, it hurts me. And yet knowing that I am bigger than this, and this happened to me, this is not just me. In 1 year, they say each and every cell of our body changes. Each and every cell, like physically also, you are a new person, if we look at it this way. So let us also give importance to that I am bigger than this. I'm bigger than this role, this title, this name, these relationships, my past. And also rest for a few minutes, if possible, with the greatness that I am, that is in me, that gives me the life. A lot of my actions and my thoughts and my feelings are again, that quote that we say often, that falsafi ki, कि उसमें खुद मिलता नहीं, डोर को सुलझा रहे हैं और सिरा मिलता नहीं. कि in these philosophies, in these arguments, I'm not finding any light, anything. You can't find it. Like डोर को सुलझा रहे हैं और सिरा, मतलब we can't find the root of each and everything. Sometimes we just have to let go and start anew, start afresh, or just leave the whole business, the door business, or so that too is my option. Any minute I'm willing to take. The floor is accessible if I'm willing to change my floor. So today we had taken up this passage of inner cleanliness. And before we leave, if you would just want to, if somebody wants to unmute and just read it again for all of us, and then we'll call it a day. Yeah, I'll do it. Yes. Yeah, so it's inner cleanliness. I've known people, I have known many who every time they had a fine aspiration, and their aspiration was very strong, and they received an answer to this aspiration. Every time, the very same day, or at the latest the next day, they had a complete setback of consciousness and were facing the exact opposite of their aspiration. Such things happen almost constantly. Well, these people have developed only the positive side. They make a kind of discipline of aspiration. They ask for help. They try to come into contact with higher forces. They succeed in this. They have experiences, but they have completely neglected cleaning their room. It has remained as dirty as ever. And so, naturally, when the experience has gone, this dirt becomes still more repulsive than this. One must never neglect to clean one's room. It is very important. Inner cleanliness is at least as important as outer cleanliness. Vivekanand has written, one must every morning clean one's soul and one's body. And if you don't have time for both, it is better to clean the soul than clean the body. So there is this proverb or some quote also now that one must pray 30 minutes a day. But if you don't have time, then you must pray 2 hours. That it's like ironical and funny, and yet it is very important and it's very reflective that if you don't have 30 minutes, then take out 2 hours. Yeah, Chetna, have you okay, please just so I think this is it for this session. In case there's any last comments, reflections, we can take them. Otherwise, we'll end it here.
So I have a question. So this cleaning of the soul that Vivekanand ji is pointing to, what are the ideas around it? It's prayer, it's meditation. What
I
else?
mean, everything, right? Like, say, when I'm becoming aware, see, like we have this habit of a lot of times making things bigger than they are. Actually, imagine that there's a small room in front of you which has a lot of things, right? And a child is asking, how do I clean? So you pick up those things, you see firstly putting things where they belong, then removing the things that are not needed. Then there'll be dusting, maybe then there'll be pocha, that kind of a thing. Whatever I need, whatever the junk I'm carrying, the type of room, the type of things there are. So still concentration, meditation is just more awareness, right? Like active, dynamic meditation. What thought is coming? Why is it coming? Do I need it? Do I want to give it energy? Or can I just let it pass? Everything that comes, I sit and I start giving it attention. But it's just passing through, let it pass through. So I think just making it light rather than heavy, that it's fun to clean, right? Like, let me see what I enjoy. How do I let this load go? I'm holding so many bags on my shoulder. Every bag I keep down, I'm lighter. I can stand stronger and straighter. So just anything like, yeah, and of course, welcoming more reflections to Nandini's session.
That's a good analogy, actually, that you gave of the room.
So this is not with respect to what Nandini is asking, but it's just an additional note. I remember when I was a student and we were working in a psychiatric ward, um, and we had to keep the inmates busy with activities. There was one point where we were supposed to give a lot of menial activities to a certain group of people, and the whole idea is that it is very cathartic, the cleaning process by itself. And time and again, I've kind of used it, and I've seen that I find it extremely unburdening sometimes when you clean, and it's so symbolic. the cleaning is happening outside physically, but actually what is happening is a lot of cleansing inside. So, I mean, I guess we all have to find our own zones and our own activities and what suits us best. But this was just an additional point. So I think a lot of this whole, which is built into our religion, also the Diwali cleaning and all of it, it is also symbolic, right? Maybe if people start the cleaning outside, you then also go and extend it further to the cleaning inside. It's just beautiful to think of it that way. But also psychiatry by itself has recognized that these activities are good. And if you see, as modern and as the class differences come into our societies, I remember when I was in Dubai and people used to say, "Oh, she's moving to US. Oh, she's moving to Canada, and oh, now she'll know what it is to clean her own bathroom and her toilet." But it's not a bad thing. It's really not a bad thing. So I'm diverging a bit, but just a note.
I did one course, NLP, that's Neuro Linguistic Programming. So in that, what I learned that our memory filing system, or the memory, something like compared to hard disk of a computer. So like we had been talking about, say, habit is forming, and there is an English saying that old habits die hard. So similarly, this hard disk has been written, and for all of us, and we have strong belief on that. But all this in the NLP, we learn the techniques, how to change and rewrite the hard disk. It is possible by human being. So this course has given a real, the opening of the thoughts actually. In one of the cases, one example was given that, say, consider that that feared, or I'm afraid of driving because there's some accident may take place or something. Suppose this you consider as a big event initially here. Now slowly you consider this as a point in a screen, and now slowly you have been so you are on your own now, and you stop thinking of other things. See that, and now you are taken off. Physically you have noticed, and you have plotted in that map actually where is this problem, and now after that you are taken by air upwards, and the distance is increasing. Now slowly, can you see that same image? No, it has become smaller. Okay, raise him little more. So you go 1,000 feet more high, then it becomes smaller. Then again another 1,000 feet. Then say now it is not available. See, it was not there. We are thinking there that it was there, but it is not there. So this is the just an example. This is the way actually you have to practice to get rid of something which is harming me. I know that now I have diagnosed that anger is helping me. I mean, spoiling me. This anger I have to get rid of. So what to do? So if so within myself, I will find a lot of solutions actually. So I have to adapt, and I can rewrite that old habits which was there for a long time. So it may take time. It may take time, but it is possible to get rid of these habits. So that was something like that inner cleaning. It is possible with all the emotions. There may be 20, 30, or more than that emotions we have, where we have to get it cleaned, and we have to be recognize ourselves, that there is no speck of dust in that. I see the person, who is residing in me, there is absolute cleanliness. Nothing can be more clear than this. So we have to get these ideas into the mind. If little speck of dust as a anger, or say greed, or anything of this nature disturbs me, there are ways and means. There are so many ways. uh, as Taruji was mentioning, at what level and how much quantity it is present and all that depends. So for us, there are so many ways so many methods are available now. So, but we can follow that, and we will practice. We will practice, and then I can rewrite my hard disk, which will help me in reaching my goal. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Captain. That was really beautiful. It's like if I'm standing too close, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me, it becomes very big. It is big then. But if I keep, it's like, say, if I close myself and I think of something that has happened to me, and I see what's happening inside of me, that okay, I am the one with whom this happened, or this happened, the tightness in my chest, the heaviness in my head, that shrinking feeling that I get, then this is where I go. And alternatively, if I just, again, while my eyes are closed and I'm saying, I am the wind, I am the sky, the same energy that flows in the ocean is flowing in me. I'm as light as a feather. When I see a bird flying, I'm flying with that bird. I don't know, I, it's all in my head. I am that experience and I am not. I am small. I am just this limited person with this name, this title, and yet I am so much more. So when I'm identifying with the so much more that I am, it's not a figment of my imagination. It's not just, okay, I'm just playing with words. It is the truth, and it's up to me which aspect of the spectrum do I identify myself with. And that will become my truth. That is my truth. Nothing is more logical, less logical. It might sound stupid, it might not. But whatever helps me in becoming light, I will take it irrespective whether it's true or not. Because what is truth? Everything in my life is relative. If I say something happened, oh my God, this happened. If I speak to somebody else in the same incident, for them it will be a totally different thing that happened. They'll be carrying their own trauma. I had shared that I had read a book. I got a book about traumas, about breathing, and it was about that how when a child is born, if he's normal, these are the traumas. If it's cesarean, these are the traumas. If he comes and there's too much light, this is the trauma. If he comes when he is out of the body of the mother, if there's too much noise, this is the trauma. If he's placed lightly, this is the trauma. If he's placed sharply on something, this is the trauma. So it felt that trauma, though I have to get now that when I'm on earth, I have to get one trauma or the other. But the journey is when I'm wanting to reverse it. The journey is from trauma to light. And the more people I meet, usually I meet people only on social medias and just beautifully decorated with wine glasses in their hands maybe, and this is what I feel life is. And yet every heart has pain, every heart has traumas. So knowing that yes, everyone are carrying their own pain, their own issue, and yet we all have to be somewhere else, move towards more light. So the more time I spend in the trauma, the more trauma becomes me. Of course, I must do things to release it and stuff, but meanwhile, always knowing that I am the light, I am the lightness, the truth lives in me, and the higher light is within me, and I can choose to be where I want. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Captain. So we'll end the session here. So praying for more grace, praying, aspiring, begging for more light, more simplicity. May I always follow, may I always bow down to what is taking me towards peace, towards a smile, towards lightness, irrespective of everything that has happened or is happening around me. May I know that I have the power to be whoever I want to be. If I like light, may I be the light in the world, in my world at least. If I like joy, let me be joy so that more people can feel that joy around. May I be the change I want to see in my world, all the world around. May I be one drop of poison less in this world full of poisons and other things. But let me make myself more and less at the same time. So praying for this for everyone and for me. May all beings be truly well, truly happy, and with peace and joy in their heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank